Do not attempt to adjust your device screen. We are in control of the broadcast. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. The time has come. Please stand by for a live transmission from Halloween Daily News. Yes, it is that time again. Light up those pumpkins, everybody, because we are live. It is Monday night. Let's see who else is awake and alive out there tonight. Hello, Haddonfield, and happy Michael Myers Monday. Welcome to it. If you're new here, my name is Matt. We are Halloween Daily News, and this late summer slash fest massacre you just found yourself in the middle of is what we like to call Michael Myers Monday Live, our gathering, hangout, general celebration of all things Michael Myers, the Shape, the Halloween movie franchise, TV series, video games, collectibles, everything else that is Michael Myers fandom, the greatest horror fandom in the world, with the greatest horror fans in the world. So if you're new, welcome. We hope you'll stay a while. And to everybody else, all of our friends, what is up, y'all? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Welcome back. Good to see you all. I'm excited to be here tonight. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025, the first Monday of August. This year is just flying by, and it's been a couple weeks since our last live stream, so I am stoked to be here. I see a lot of friends and familiar names lighting it up in the live chat, so I'm going to jump over here right now and give a couple quick shout outs. Jason Yost is in here. The first time he's been able to be here and not working and not watching on a replay here in the live chat during a Triple M live stream. So awesome to have you here, Jason. Glad it worked out this time. Byron Weaver is here. What's up, man? Good to see you. David Suber, always good to see you, sir. Phil is here as well. Awesome. Happy Michael Myers Monday, and I'm sure some other friends will hopefully find their way in here as we roll on tonight. Again, I don't expect a huge crowd. Don't even expect to be on here super long tonight. Probably not even until midnight. But we do have what I think is going to be a fun show. We've got some fun news bites to talk about tonight. I'm going to give you my impression and kind of recap and just my thoughts on the recent live reading of the unproduced Halloween Returns script by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, which took place as a charity fundraiser last weekend. And I'm going to be talking about that in just a little bit. And then the main meal of tonight's presentation, our main discussion, we're going to spend a little bit of time digging in to some of Michael's other masks, other than his standard, most well-known go-to mask. He's worn a few others throughout the course of these films over the last 45 plus years, and we're going to take a look at a few of those, and we'll launch a new poll tonight. We'll look at the results of our most recent poll. We'll do some shout outs, and we'll see what else we get into this evening. So I appreciate you all being here and hanging out, and of course it's all about you guys here on Michael Myers Monday. That's why we do these live broadcasts, is to get the immediate feedback from our friends out here in the audience watching. So don't be shy if you are new. And of course, super chats are enabled. Memberships are enabled and welcome. It's only $5 a month. And if you're a member, you can see stuff like our interviews early. We've got a stacked week of interviews upcoming. We just dropped one earlier today with the writer and director of the new horror movie Strange Harvest. His name is Stuart Ortiz. We also talked to Jesse Clarkson, who is production designer, and he also portrays Strange Harvest's killer, the masked slasher, known in the film as Mr. Shiny. And I talked to them about some of their inspirations, both in the lore and mythology of Mr. Shiny, and most specifically in Mr. Shiny's mask in particular, because Jesse was in a unique position to not only portray the killer, but help design the mask, help design the killer's kills and aftermath and so forth. It's a very cool film. A lot of people are going to be talking about it, I do believe. It introduces this serial killer, Mr. Shiny, and the entire feature film is told as if it's a true crime documentary. So a lot of various found footage, screen life elements are used in telling this documentary format. And because it's told as a documentary, it spans decades. And so you really get a lot of Mr. Shiny's story throughout this film. It's in theaters this Friday, August 8th. And my interview is now for the public. Channel members got in a few days early. And we got some other exciting stuff coming up this week, including the writer, director, and stars of the upcoming family-friendly horror comedy. It's called Sketch, but I promise you guys it is absolutely one of the best movies of 2025. It might be my favorite I've seen so far, honestly. It is so good, especially if you have kids or young ones in your life, nieces, nephews that you want to kind of expose a little gateway horror to. It is perfect for that. It is such an awesome Spielbergian type film. It's called Sketch, and it's hilarious as well. Look for those interviews coming up. And then, if that's not enough, we've also got the writer, director, and stars of the upcoming Halloween slasher, the expanded version of the viral short Diced. It's called Diced Reloaded. And we've got all of them here on the channel coming your way very soon. So look for all that. I hope you checked out my interviews with the guys from Halloween last week. It coincided with them dropping a brand new epic 8-minute single called Universe, which I talked to Sasha Gerstner about. He wrote that song. So especially if you're a metal fan, but even if you're not, check out the interview. I hope you will, because we get their impression of Halloween growing up in Germany, which was almost non-existent. It's a little more existent over there now, but when they were growing up, it very much was not. And so they didn't have a lot of exposure to the holidays. Kind of ironic they would go on to form a band that is so kind of synonymous and builds in the holiday into all of their aesthetic. check out all of those interviews. Lots of cool stuff coming your way. In addition to the interviews, it is reveal season still, and we're going to be talking about a few merch updates in our News Bites segments here coming up in just a minute. Lots more of that coming up, and we're going to be taking a trip up to Virginia in a few days. Lots of fun Hallow hunting for those of you guys that like seeing that and like seeing the animatronics up close in person. We got a lot of that stuff coming your way. Speaking of illustrious channel members, I see the great Brett Patrick has checked in as well. What's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Jason is still pushing the HDN merch at any conventions. Awesome. I appreciate it, man. We definitely appreciate it. Absolutely. All right. We are going to get into a few news bites here first, as we typically do. Barf, what's up, man? Happy Triple M. Ben is in the house as well. What's up? Happy Triple M to you. Excellent. I want to remind you guys that we are running our Triple M Crew exclusive sale still at our online store. It's HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop. Link is in the description. You guys can get 15% off everything we've currently got in stock. All you got to do is use code MMM15 when you're checking out. That's MMM15, Triple M15. The numbers 15, Triple M15. Use that when you're checking out at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop, or just go to HalloweenDailyNews.com and click the shop tab up top in the menu, and that'll take you right there. We've got a bunch of Myers masks from the recent trilogy. We've got a bunch of vintage style wall decor, both from this franchise and other franchises like classic Universal Monsters and Trick or Treat, among others. We've got a couple Haunt masks from the film Haunt, if you are fans of that one, and some other good, cool treats in there. Check it out. And don't forget to use Triple M15 for 15% off when you check out. Damn, Sam, greetings from 110-degree Phoenix. Woo! Yeah, it is hot here, but not that hot. It is hot here on the Outer Banks, but not quite 110 degrees at the moment, thankfully. Thankfully, man. Yeah, you are really sweltering out there. Damn. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right, so we are going to pull up our first news item here tonight, and this is a pretty exciting one because John Carpenter himself is teasing something exciting coming this week, this Wednesday, in fact, on August 6th. And we don't know what it is, but we know it's something to do with Michael Myers and this franchise. We know it's something to do with the soundtracks of these films. And we know this thanks to a recent post on the socials from the man's official accounts, John Carpenter. It was also cross-posted on the Sacred Bones account. Sacred Bones, of course, is the company that has released all of Carpenter's solo material and the Lost Themes albums, the anthology albums. And so it looks like they're about to announce something cool regarding the Halloween soundtracks. And they shared this little video where we see the mask morphing from its 2018 form into its Kills form into its Ends form. And this was posted just 3 days ago, and all it says in the caption is heavy breathing and a knife emoji, and then 8/6. 8/6, of course, August 6th. It's playing the Halloween theme when the audio is turned on, which I'm not going to do right this minute for obvious reasons. So something is coming, some kind of news, some kind of drop this Wednesday on August 6th. What could it be? Well, like I said, it's definitely got to do with the soundtracks. A lot of you have commented on our social media posts that the popular theory is that it is going to be expanded editions of the Kills and Ends soundtracks. You will recall that we did get an expanded edition of the 2018 soundtrack. We never did get expanded editions of Kills or Ends. And of course, there's tons of music and cues that were recorded and not included in those soundtracks. So, could that be what is going to be announced this Wednesday? I would probably have to agree that that's probably the most likely bet. Um, while I would like to think that maybe it would be the original 78 soundtrack re-recorded in its entirety by John and Cody and Daniel, because they've already done quite a few tracks from that soundtrack that have been released on the anthology albums. Given that image that was posted, I do think it's definitely got to do with the most recent trilogy of films. And so it makes sense that maybe the expanded versions, maybe some kind of new box set with all three of them together, some new artwork possibly, a new box set including these unreleased tracks in the expanded version of Kills and Ends. Maybe that could be it. In any case, whatever is happening, it is happening this Wednesday, August 6th. We're going to find out. I would guess if it is an announcement of a new re-release of some form of these recent Blumhouse trilogy of films, soundtracks, that it would probably come, with the announcement, maybe with some cover art, maybe even track listings, pre-order info, release date, and I would expect maybe one of those unreleased tracks to drop on Wednesday as well. So we'll definitely be looking forward to that, and it's going to give us a lot to talk about the next time we gather for sure. And of course, I'll have the latest on all of that as soon as it drops at HalloweenDailyNews.com on Wednesday the 6th. So let me know what you're thinking. If you do think it's going to be expanded editions of Kills and Ends, maybe some kind of box set bringing that trilogy together. I will say that if you will recall last year when I interviewed Daniel Davies, I interviewed him in April of 2024, right around the release of John Carpenter's Volume 3, Lost Themes Volume 3. And we talked about that album. We also talked about the Death of a Unicorn soundtrack, which we know they recorded, and for whatever reason, the filmmaker of that film decided not to use that soundtrack. But Daniel also said at that time that there was something coming for us Halloween fans, and he wouldn't say what it was, and we all kind of took it and thought that he meant that it was coming last Halloween, and I do think that's what he meant, and that's what he thought was going to happen. And if you'll recall, nothing was released, nothing came last October music-wise from them. So whatever he was alluding to in that interview over a year ago, I think this is probably that, and we are about to find out whatever it is that he was talking about. But this is just a very cool image here, images morphing into each other of Christopher Nelson's amazing work on The Mask in these recent films. So in any case, be here Wednesday for whatever's going to happen. A lot of times they drop new music on Tuesday, and if it was the 5th that this was coming, I was going to say we're definitely going to stay on till midnight and see if a new track drops at midnight and do a live reaction with you guys. But it's Wednesday, so we're going to have to wait on that. But I'll be looking forward to it. You guys tell me what you think. What do you think the announcement's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? And are we going to get some new music with it? Like that's what I'm hoping is not only do they announce a re-release or a compilation or something, but maybe we go ahead and get at least one track of unreleased material dropped on us on Wednesday. I think that'd be awesome. All right, I'm going to check into the live chat before we move in to our other news bites tonight. Larry Morris checked in. What's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Thanks for being here. Brett agrees that it's likely the expanded editions. Brett says, I'd love a nice edition of Halloween 2. Yes, with the dialogue included. Yes, like they did for the 20th anniversary. Okay, yep. Yeah, where they have the dialogue from the film included. That would be interesting. Yeah, I definitely do think it's going to do with the recent trilogy, just because of that image released. Yeah, the only other thing, like I said, I was thinking this goes back to my interview with Daniel last year, is that thinking that eventually they would release their version of the 78 soundtrack. Because they have done, like I said, numerous tracks from that already. They've almost got it. They have done some from the Halloween 2 soundtrack and the Halloween 3 soundtrack as well. And I wouldn't mind if it's that, honestly. I mean, maybe we're way off. Maybe it's not that trilogy. Maybe it's the original 78 H2 H3, and they've re-recorded all of them. Now that would be insane. That would be awesome. If I had to guess, though, I don't think that's what it is. But I mean, I'm here for it. If it is, that would be awesome. Let's see. Asking what's next for the Halloween franchise. Are we getting a TV series? That's Jose. What's up, man? Well, as far as we know, the TV series is still in development. I have been inquiring on the regular with the powers that be, and so far I have not heard anything otherwise, but I do believe we're going to be getting some news very soon about all of that. Brett says the expanded edition of 2018 is great. Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Expanded kills and ends, and maybe some special new packaging release, including all three of them, for the collectors, for the vinyl collectors, and so forth. That makes a lot of sense to me, I think. All right. In other news, out of Haddonfield here recently, during our last Michael Myers live broadcast, we talked about NECA's Halloween H2O Ultimate Michael Myers figure, which comes after this year's release of their Halloween Curse of Michael Myers Ultimate Michael Myers figure. They officially unveiled and put their H2O figure up for pre-order, and we looked at him, and he looks awesome, as all of NECA's Ultimate figures in general, but especially their Ultimate Michael Myers figures do. And then, wouldn't you know it, just a few days later at San Diego Comic-Con, NECA unveiled their next Ultimate Michael Myers figure, and it is, maybe predictably, Halloween Resurrection Ultimate Michael Myers by NECA. And this photo here is from the San Diego Comic-Con floor, courtesy of Toy Arc. And this is the Michael Myers Halloween Resurrection NECA Ultimate figure. And as always, NECA just knocks it out of the park with the accessories, especially. And let's see, we can go full screen here. Oh wow, let's first of all, let's take a look at that mask. That's definitely the resurrection mask. I don't know, with as visible as those eyes are, it could almost double as Busta Rhymes wearing the mask, right? As Freddy wearing the mask. Of course, he's got the bloody kitchen knife. But let's go over here. He also comes with the burnt mask head, interchangeable, as seen at the end of the film. And I always kind of love this look because it's the mask burnt and melted on to Michael. Just really crazy, wild look here. Very cool of NECA to include it. I'm glad that they did. It looks really nice. Let's continue on down here. NECA always likes to include jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins from the films, which you know I appreciate. So this is no exception. We have the Resurrection jack-o'-lantern. Now, you guys, it's been a minute since I've watched Resurrection. Help me remember exactly what scene this pumpkin is from. Now, this is one of the coolest accessories, and I definitely remember this scene. It's the bloody tripod. Now, if you remember, it's an online crew. They're filming in the Myers house in this film. They're live streaming it. It's very ahead of its time in that respect. And one of the characters is killed by tripod. Death by tripod. It's pretty awesome, actually. And it's even more awesome that NECA included the bloody tripod accessory. I love that. And over here, this doll from Resurrection, and I believe with the nails in it, is this the doll they find in the Myers house? Again, it's been a minute since I've seen this. I think that's what it is, because Laurie's got her doll in the beginning of it, like her Raggedy Ann doll in the opening scenes. But that would have to come with the Laurie figure. I think maybe that's from the Myers house. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the bloody tripod, guys, that is awesome. Another jack-o'-lantern, and it probably lights up too, I'm guessing. Again, credit to Toy Art for this awesome photo. And there's the Resurrection mask. Yeah, so I'm stoked to see this figure in person. I mean, they're going to complete the line, it seems like. I hope they do. I hope they get the 4 and 5 license and can do them as well. But yeah, we knew Resurrection was coming next. I think we all had a feeling that would be the next one. All right. So give me your thoughts on that Resurrection figure, on those accessories, and are you going to be adding this to your Michael Myers collection? Brett says more items for Chris Duran and Brad Laree to sign at cons. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Jose says, not a fan of showing his eyes on Michael. I agree. I feel like when they do that, that's why I say it almost does feel like it's not Michael, but maybe the scene of when Busta Rhymes is wearing the mask, you know. And maybe that's what they're going for, which I would be fine with. But again, give us that extra mask. Give us the darkened eyes for Michael, the blackest eyes. Give us the inner eyes so that we, you know, it's basically the Freddy in the mask, and then of course the burnt version. So yeah, a little surprising that they didn't do that, but I'm generally with you on that one, Jose. I prefer the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. All right. Let's see. Jenny has checked in. What's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Welcome, welcome. Tim is in the house. What's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Um, Brett says I try to find something to like in all the films, but damn, Resurrection is rough. I hear you. Yep. I always find the positivity in what I like in all of them too. But there's definitely some things I like in Resurrection. Um, I think it looks good. I'll be getting this one. Ben says awesome. Jason says looks great. Would definitely buy it for the nostalgia of the franchise. Yeah, I mean, especially if you've got all the other ones. Even if Resurrection isn't your favorite, you kind of got to get it to complete the collection, right? Ah, what's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Isn't Halloween yet? Well, it always is right here. You're in the right place. Yes. David says we need a NECA Busta Rhymes. Trick or treat. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, they could do Freddy, without even Busta's likeness. They, do it in the mask. Um, but I kind of feel like that one almost works. But honestly, Busta Rhymes would probably work with them. I think he'd love to have a Freddy figure made, don't you? If it was the old school one that talked, that's definitely the line they'd have to have him say, right? It says, won't be getting the Rob Zombie ones because really don't like those movies. Just get the figures of all the other ones. Nice. Al says H2O is underrated. Yeah, I mean, I think, it's such an entry point for a lot of people that but like H4 is too, for a generation before that. Um but they are both definitely of their time too, H4 and for better and for worse. H4 is very 80s, H2O is very 90s, and that's part of their charm, part of what makes them what they are. And but then it also does kind of date both of them in that way. But they both definitely bring the nostalgia now. I remember seeing H2O in the theater, and it's crazy that now it brings the nostalgia to me. It's almost 30 years later. It's crazy. All right, we do have some other merch news to get into. Another little merch news bite here. You might have seen these knit Michael Myers figures made by Robots. That's the company, made by Robots, handmade by Robots. And it's these knit figures that are out and about. And this is the 5-inch one. But now, apparently, at your neighborhood Costco, there is a jumbo sized 12-inch version. And this is from Instagram, posted by Costco Wonders. And here he is, that 12-inch. And you can see they've done a whole bunch of horror characters, from Chucky and Ghostface. Sam from Trick or Treat is in there, Leatherface even. And of course, our boy, Big Mike there. The Shape himself with his knife. Definitely an interesting look. Just a weird, interesting collectible. It's not exactly an action figure. I guess it's more in the doll realm. I do have the jumbo. What is it, like 20-inch Funko? I have him in my living room on display with all of my other regular size Funkos. I don't have the 5-inch knit version yet of this. But man, I mean, for $40 at your Costco, you can get this guy. He is such a centerpiece. Um, he's going to be hard to turn down, I think. For me, I think for a lot of you guys. Um, but there you go. He is circulating. I think they're going to go fast. Very cool that they did all the horror characters there, or at least some of the best. That Sam looks really great too. Okay, and one more thing that we want to keep an eye out, and this has not been officially announced, but Bloody Disgusting did do an article on it, that apparently Fanta has partnered with Universal Pictures, and they're going to be doing a special uh, Halloween promotion in which they will release special cans featuring Chucky, featuring Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's, and featuring, you guessed it, Michael Myers. Um, Also, the Grabber from The Black Phone is featured in there as well. And I'll try to get a photo of them up here in just a second so you can see what we're going to be looking for here. This, of course, in addition to the Angry Orchard special Jason Universe crossover that I know we're all going to be looking for. But there you go. There's the cans. Michael is down there. He's in the yellow can. And like I said, you've got the Grabber from The Black Phone, Chucky from Child's Play, Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's, and of course, Michael from Halloween. And they're even saying from Halloween and not Halloween 2, but this is a Universal promotion, so I'm sure technically it is a Halloween 2 can, I'm sure. So we're all going to have to be on the lookout for that. New treat. Something new for us all to taste test. Straight out of Haddonfield. All right. Yeah, Brett says H2O was coming off Scream. It's a product of its time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And again, I love Scream and I love H2O. Just like I love H4, but yeah, they definitely are of their time for sure. Yeah, and Scream, H2O, had they used a little more of the Carpenter aesthetic in the music and a little less of the Scream aesthetic in the music, especially, um, I think it that wouldn't pull me back to the 80s or 90s quite as drastically as it does sometimes when I watch it now. Um, Al says I love Halloween 5. Same here. I mean, I love all of them. Honestly, I say that all the time, and I really do celebrate all the things that I love about each of them. And uh, there's plenty to feast on, for sure. All right, all right. So before so you guys let me know what you think about those new merch items. And let me know if you've spotted um, other stuff. I see you guys in the live chat. We're talking about a new Steelbook on Amazon. I think I saw. Um, yeah, let me know what else is out there that I missed, and we will talk about on the next program. Now, the other news item that I want to talk about tonight is this Halloween Returns script reading recap. Uh, well, I tell you what, I am going to take just 2 minutes and I'm going to let you guys watch this pre recorded video for just a few minutes. And then we're going to come back in and talk about the Halloween Returns live script reading, my impressions of the script of the film that once almost was and came very close to being, and was not meant to be, at least not yet. Um, and then we're going to get into some other masks of Michael Myers. But first, if you will allow me, I am going to play a brief pre recorded message for you. And I will be right back in about 3 to 3.5 minutes. The time has come, the moment has arrived. The Halloween International Film Festival is back from the dead in 2025, happening at a new, iconic venue that dates all the way back to the silent film era and the dawn of cinema itself on the historic and haunted Outer Banks of North Carolina this October. And submissions just opened. Hey everybody, Matt here with Halloween Daily News, and we are very excited to exclusively announce the resurrection of the Halloween International Film Festival in October 2025, showcasing shorts and features that celebrate the strange, the unusual, and of course all the horror and wonder of the most hallowed of seasons, taking place on the Outer Banks of North Carolina at a legendary theater that dates back over a century. The festival features 3 days of independent horror and Halloween themed films from around the world, as well as networking opportunities and extensive media exposure, all taking place this year as one of the kickoff events for the town of Manio's Halloween Island festivities. This is where area restaurants, bars, and other businesses throughout the downtown social district of Manio will all transform themselves into Halloween themed pop ups for the month of October. And our event, the first weekend in October, the festival is going to help kick off this month long celebration of Halloween Island in Manio, North Carolina. Films selected for the Halloween International Film Festival will be shown on the massive big screen at the Pioneer Theater, including Q&A sessions with attending filmmakers, nightly meet and greets, photo ops on our orange carpet, as well as an outdoor vendor market on Saturday, and numerous Halloween Island festivities happening each day in easy walking distance throughout the town. Our iconic new host venue, the Pioneer, dates back to 1918 when it originally opened, showing silent films back in the earliest days of movie making. Later, it opened its current location in 1934, this year marking its 91st anniversary at its current location, and it is absolutely truly an independent cinematic landmark in itself. A portion of this year's proceeds from the festival will be donated to a Pathway Forward, a locally based nonprofit charity that supports veterans. The Halloween International Film Festival is happening October 2nd through 4th, 2025 at the Pioneer Theater in Manio on North Carolina's Outer Banks, presented by Halloween Daily News. We're going to have a ton more details to be revealed very soon. Make sure you stay tuned for all the latest updates. But what you need to know now is save the dates: Thursday, October 2nd, Friday, October 3rd, and Saturday, October 4th. Plan on joining us on the Outer Banks, and make sure you let all your filmmaker friends, family, and loved ones know that submissions for the 2025 Halloween International Film Festival are now officially open. That's right. Early deadline is March 31st. Final deadline is July 31st. We're going to have a lot to talk about as things continue to ramp up with this festival, but we wanted to go ahead and get this announcement out there and let you guys know so you can start making your plans. This is going to be an epic event that you're not going to want to miss. And of course, we're going to have all kinds of previews and more coverage as things start to heat up with this festival. You're not going to want to miss any of that right here at Halloween Daily News. You can find full details on how to submit via Film Freeway, and you can find all of that right now at HalloweenDailyNews.com. Until then, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you for watching. All right, we are back alive. It is Monday night. And it is time now to turn the clock back for just a minute. So a very cool event happened just last weekend as we're recording this. It was the annual Yorkie-thon benefit that Adam Green, the creator of the Hatchet franchise, and he does this every year, and this is their 9th year, and it's to save the Yorkies, and it's a 3-day event, and they live stream it, and they auction off amazing items, and every year they do a script reading of either an unproduced film or a film that went through major changes from the version of the script that they read. And so this year in 2025, the live script reading was none other than Halloween Returns. Now, many of you might remember it was pretty much exactly 10 years ago, in fact, 1 decade ago, in the summer of 2015, when all of Haddonfield was abuzz because there was a new movie in development, and it was very, very close to going before cameras. It was called Halloween Returns. It was co-written by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan, to be directed by Marcus Dunstan. And then, just as we were expecting casting news to come out, and as in real life, behind the scenes, they were literally very close, like weeks from going before cameras. Our friend Douglas Tate has talked about it. He was very close to being cast as the man behind the mask. Everything stopped. The project was canceled. The plug was pulled. And ultimately, the franchise would leave Dimension Films soon after that. So, since then, lots of details about what could have been have surfaced. Even back then, there were all kinds of script details that were leaking and coming out, and rumors. And then there's been tons of stuff since then. And I know a lot of this script has been out there. Maybe all of it has been out there, and many of you might have read it before. But I never really read it. I have read certain descriptions of certain passages, certain scene descriptions here and there over the years, but never, read the script or anything like that. Didn't want to, really. But when I heard this was happening last weekend, I was like, well, this would be a very cool way to experience it. And so what they did was they had various actors, some of them friends of ours here, like Sarah Nicklin, who I just recently interviewed, and Damien Maffei from The Strangers Pray at Night, who we've also interviewed here. They were both there. It was directed by Dave Parker, who has done a lot of cool projects over the years. My favorite being his segment in Tales of Halloween. And it was a very entertaining, just fun 2-hour experience. I just put on the live streams, sat in my living room, honestly, listened to it. I didn't take notes. I probably should have taken notes. I'm going to be doing this mainly just from my memory. So I certain details, I certainly will have forgotten by now, or might not get 100% right. Lisa Wilcox was another one in the cast, another friend of ours there. So, Halloween Returns, one thing that I really liked right off the bat is that the film, it really just kind of jumps right in there and does a lot of what 2018 doesn't do, which is not playing on our classic characters. And what I mean is the film opens basically at the end of the events of the 78 film. But what you learn pretty early in this script is that it's not exactly the events of the 78 film as we know them. It's a slightly alternate universe version. In this version, a lot more people die than just the initial 3 or 4 that we know Michael killed initially in 78. So um, there's that. And and the characters, the main characters of Laurie and Loomis, largely don't really play a factor in this story. The main characters of this story are the uh, the offspring of one is the offspring of Dr. Paul Rogers, who is in many ways this film's kind of Dr. Sam Loomis. And then the sheriff. Oh, by the way, this whole story takes place in Russellville, other than that very quick opening scene, which kind of wraps up their version of 78. And we as viewers take it as it could almost be, or I took it as it could almost be like any of Michael's rampages. This is kind of the end of it. This is where we're picking up. And so it ends with him being apprehended. And then it picks up down the road in Russellville. And that's where this whole story takes place. Not in Haddonfield. Haddonfield's mentioned very briefly. Sheriff Brackett mentioned very briefly. But at the center of this story is Russellville Sheriff Gary Hunt. That's right. You know that name from Halloween 2. Again, though, it's not really like this is a continuation of Halloween 2. It's more like this is an alternate Halloween 2. In that way, it is kind of similar to 2018, but very different in the way it approaches all of this material. And really, I kind of like it. It's just a very different take on it. It does use the Gary Hunt name and a few other names that are familiar. Interestingly, one of the main characters is Karen, and this is kind of this story's version of the Laurie Strode survivor. It's just interesting that her name is Karen, and then of course that name ended up being used so prominently in the recent trilogy, ultimately down the road. So the whole first third, or really the first half of the movie, is all on Halloween Eve, leading up to what is to be Michael Myers' execution. They're going to put him down, lethal injection, and these kids, Gary Hunt's kid and Paul Rogers' daughter, they want to go and they want to see this happen. They want to experience this, and not out of some morbid thing. It's because they feel like he's done all this damage. They're not going to be all right. They're not going to be well. It's not even like they're doing it as like a party thing. They're doing it because the trauma, the damage they kind of needed. And it's all presented. It's hard to describe because again you're dealing with characters that are new characters, but they're hitting all the marks of kind of what we have come to know and why they should be concerned about Michael. So of course things don't go right with the execution, obviously, and it's great that the script notes that Michael is unmasked, of course, but you never see his face, and that's a perfect note, and that's all they need to say. Is because again, a talented director, they're going to show you everything but his face. You'll see the silhouette, you'll see things covering, you'll see it blurred and out of focus. So yeah, Michael gets injected with this poison, and his body more or less just rejects it, and he won't die, and he's convulsing. Storm is raging outside. He makes eye contact with this young girl, and we know, okay, chase is on. And before you know it, everything has gone up in flames. Maybe Michael's dead. Maybe he's not. We know he's not. But it's Halloween now in Russellville, and he's out on the loose. These kids don't know what is going on. Paul Rogers and Gary Hunt know. They're trying to keep it contained, and Michael is out. This time in Russellville. And they've got all kinds of cool callbacks. One of my favorites is the Silver Shamrock store. And it's run by and presumably owned by Harry Grimbridge. I love all of this. Harry shows up. He opens up his store. When Harry shows up, by the way, he pulls up. He drives a van. It's an all-black van with a giant jack-o'-lantern on it. They call it the Halloween van. Well, of course, Michael is waiting in the store. He takes out Harry, and then he goes ahead, and that's where he gets his mask, because he's been unmasked this whole time. He gets his mask. It's Halloween. He's got to have it. He puts it on. It's right there in the store next to the iconic 3 Silver Shamrock masks. And that's where Michael finally puts his mask on in the store. They use the commercial in it as well. It's great. And then there's this really cool scene before Michael leaves the Silver Shamrock store that I really liked how it was described. It's our main characters, you know, our final girl. She is picking up their friend. She's kind of looking into the store, into the Silver Shamrock store, and it's daytime, so everything's kind of reflecting, and you can't really see in. And Michael's there. He's like standing right there looking at her, and she sees him, but you know he's wearing the mask and all. And she has a line of dialogue, something like, "Is that a costume or a man?" And, you know, of course, nobody else is really paying attention. She's the only one that really sees it. And they pull away. And we know it's, you know, it's Michael standing there. But just a really cool thing, because I could totally see it in my head listening to them read it, you know, and the fact that it's the Silver Shamrock store, a costume store, all these other masks. It would kind of look almost like a mannequin or an animatronic just standing there, the way Michael just would be standing there. So I thought that was really cool. So I'm not going to go through every beat, but again, one of the coolest things, because we know Michael can drive. We saw this in the original film. It's you know, we've seen it in H5. We've seen it before. So he drives quite a bit in this film. And after he takes out Harry at the Silver Shamrock store and takes his mask from the Silver Shamrock display, it's Harry's Halloween van that he's cruising around in. So Michael Myers is literally driving around in this all-black van with a giant jack-o'-lantern on it, terrorizing Russellville on Halloween Day. I love that. And the script calls it the Halloween van. I think that's awesome. Some really cool kills, some classic Michael stuff, some nods to other, you know, films along the way. Nothing too overt, because again, what I got from this, one of the things I got from this was very much, you know, it was a return, but it was also a relaunch, a rebirth, and an untethering, I felt, to the mythology and the lore of any of the previous films. This was just saying, hey, we don't even have to be in Haddonfield necessarily. We can be in Russellville, which I think is a great idea. Let's move over there. Let's concentrate on that. Just to show that Michael's going to do his thing wherever, and he's found this new girl. And so he's chasing her. And there's a lot of just great set pieces that go on throughout this. And then everything kind of culminates that night. There's a party at the barn. Oh, and it's Farmer John's pumpkin patch. I love that because Farmer John, like John Carpenter, I thought that was a nice touch. A lot of action takes place there at the pumpkin patch. They end up doing a big party out there at the barn, and then the whole big kind of climax, final act of the film takes place there out amongst the corn rows and the cornfields, and the way it's described is just really awesome. How, you know, Michael kind of becomes almost one with autumn, with fall, all things fall, the pumpkin patch, the cornfields, the the party in the barn, all kind of, Easter eggy, but not too much. But really playing on Halloween itself and just, the holiday and just the autumn of it all, the cornfields. I just thought that was such a cool place to have it all have a climax. And then, as everything wraps up, things end how you may imagine, more or less. Most people die, a few people survive. Michael is gone, but is he? Everything's quiet, but we know he's still out there somewhere. And then there is this final scene in the hospital, and our Paul Rogers is talking to his friend, and I couldn't do it. I failed. I couldn't stop him, Dr. Loomis. And it pans up, and it's this character, and he's wearing a black turtleneck and a trench coat, and it's Dr. Loomis. And in the script, they say he's Gary Oldman. Now, just that alone, like, I never considered Gary Oldman to play Loomis, but hearing that, now I'm like, oh, well, yeah, duh. What? How were we all ever even considering anybody else? He'd be our perfect Loomis. Like, even more so today than 10 years ago, I think. I think he's aged into it even more now, a decade later. I think he'd be the perfect Loomis. Are you kidding? Now, whether or not they would have ever been able to get him, who knows? Probably not. And in fact, when Marcus and Patrick came on and talked to Adam and Joe Lynch after the reading, they said that it was actually Jason Isaacs that they were kind of in serious talk about getting cast as their Loomis in that one little brief scene at the end. Which he's a great actor too, and he definitely could have pulled it off. But man, the fact that they saw Gary Oldman in that role, I'm like, okay, these guys do get it. And I remember 10 years ago thinking some of the stuff that they had coming out about this, like, okay, maybe they do get it. Maybe they do get it. And then there would have been one final scene after the credits, after all the studio logos, the very, very final thing Marcus said, and this wasn't even in the script, but he said in the interview portion of the live stream after, that it would have gone back and you'd see the barn there still burning, and the mask laying in the ground in the foreground, and then the Shape's hand would just come down, pick up the mask, and that's it. And then we're back up and running. If the powers that be were to want it, you've got Michael back and up and running. You've got your new Loomis right there, ready to go. You've got a couple new characters you can bring back if you want. It's definitely a cool way to experience that story for somebody that never, read a whole script, and to have it brought to life in just a little bit in that way. I thought it was done really well, and it was really fun. And again, I'm paraphrasing a lot and I'm cutting a lot out. Hopefully they'll make it available for everybody to watch or listen to at some point. Again, I know the script's out there. You can find it at different places. But my impression is, well, should they have made that movie? Well, I think it would have been great had they made it. I think it could have been a great movie. Now, whether or not it would have gotten the budget that the David Gordon Green Blumhouse did, I don't know. And I do think it would have kind of needed that budget to really pull it off as effectively as everything described in the script. But man, I think those guys had a good take on it. And certainly, when your mandate is, oh, Jamie Lee Curtis wants to come back, work with that. Well, then, that changes the whole dynamic and everything. And if that were to happen to them, it would have changed everything. So, but still, just a cool way to do it. And I do remember thinking at the time that that's kind of the only way to do it at that time, I thought, was to just have Michael doing Michael on Halloween. And yeah, just new kids, a new sheriff, a new town. And it's, other than that, it's the Shape doing the Shape. Shaping, and that's kind of what they gave us. But then they did build in enough of these cool Easter eggs and references to kind of work it in. But still definitely a remix. I feel like an alternate universe, which is what we've got throughout this franchise, anyways. Tons of alternate timelines. So, in any case, it was very entertaining, and I liked it a lot. Um, Now I turn it over to you guys. What do you think about the film that never was? One of many, of course, one of many scripts and ideas that were played with, but I don't know how many got as close as this one really did to going before the cameras. It's crazy how close it got. Um, but let me know what you think in the comments and right here tonight in the live chat. Um, Brett says Paul Giamatti would be a great Loomis. Yeah, he could definitely pull it off. Jenny says, "What movie am I talking about?" I was talking about the Halloween Returns that was never made. They did a script reading last weekend of Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan's Halloween Returns script, and it was my first time hearing the script and getting that whole story of what that movie could have been. Jason says, I hope the next movie picks up the Jamie Lloyd story. Danielle Harris is a great actor, deserves to finish the story of that character. That could be cool. I really do think, I would love to see her. I would love to see her uh, close out that character as well and reprise it, at present day, at her present age and all. If anything, I think the way to do that would be like take the anthology route into the TV series and let each episode kind of be its own thing, or even each season be its own thing. That would certainly be one way. And then you could tie up so many loose ends with all of these different timelines. Imagine a 10-episode anthology series, and each one, one could be like this Halloween Returns story where it's all this kind of new remix. One could be a Halloween 4 Part 2 where Dwight Little and Danielle could actually come back and close that out in their way. And do it with an HBO Max budget and prestige presentation, like the Penguin got. Or like Welcome to Derry is about to get this October. Like if they could do something like that, that'd be amazing. And to me, that'd be the place to do a Jamie Lloyd continuation, would be in the series like that, rather than a feature film. Only because I just don't think they're going to go that way, because it would limit a little too much of the audience. She's still a little too niche, but a TV series, yeah, I think that could make all the sense in the world to explore something like that. Rob says, I think it would have been a great movie, should have been made. It was an exciting time. If you guys recall, it was a very exciting time 10 years ago when we were covering that and the development of that. And to see it fall apart when it did, it was definitely heartbreaking. But those ideas are out there. They could revisit them, and we do see in this franchise over and over. They do tend to kind of recycle and revisit certain ideas sometimes, and come back to certain things. All right. So keep that conversation going on Halloween Returns, and we are going to focus on some of Michael's other masks here for a few minutes. First of all, I forgot at the top of the show to do my show and tell. I don't know if you guys noticed, but got a new tee. Check it out, new shape tee. This is the new 2025 Walmart $9 special. The nightmare isn't over. Halloween 2. Got the flames. Got Michael. Got the sleigh all day. Slay all day. Yeah, $9. Michael Myers, Walmart. I went last week. I couldn't believe they actually had my size in stock. Couldn't believe they had the shirt in stock, but then to have my size on top of it, yeah, I had to snatch it up because $9, I will wear the hell out of a $9 t-shirt. You guys know this. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Barf. Appreciate it. Yes, Tim. Get there. Get yours. All right. So, of course, Michael Myers' mask, arguably the most iconic mask in all of horror, if not all of cinema. And every variation of it is different, and yet, unmistakably, that's Michael. That's the shape, right? Even if you're looking at H4, H5, Resurrection, it doesn't matter. You know, the Castle Stretch, the Dick Warlock look. You know it right away. It's the Michael Myers mask. Kids know it. They've never even seen the films. Everybody knows it. But from time to time, Michael does don a different look, different mask, a different face covering of some sort. And some of them are pretty damn cool. And I actually like moments when Michael rocks a different look. To me, it's kind of like moments in a Batman movie where Bruce Wayne has to do some Batman shit. Not dressed as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne. It doesn't happen very often, but every now and then he's got to do some Batman stuff. And that's always kind of cool. So this is a little bit like that. Michael doing some Michael stuff, even when he's not necessarily dressed exactly like he always does. Now, I got to pull one of these up here. Before I forget, because I forgot to pull it up a minute ago. Okay, there it is. Yeah. That'll be good. So, and again, the other thing about Michael, of course, is that you got to remember he is a prankster after all. You know, I mean, he's a trickster. He likes, well, I think that's why he likes playing dress up a little bit. So, Michael Myers' other masks. Well, the first time we ever see him, of course, he's wearing not his iconic Shatner-esque shape mask, but this, albeit equally iconic, clown mask. And, you know, it's that classic POV shot. And here is Will Sandin in the opening scene. Of course, Michael kills Judith wearing that mask. You see Judith's boyfriend, Steve, playfully put the mask on right before they run flirtingly up the stairs. So Steve will come back and be featured when we talk about everybody that's worn Michael's mask other than him. But here it is. This is the Trick or Treat Studios officially licensed replica of the 78 clown mask. Pretty good replica if you compare them. I mean, I think they got the colors and And the sculpt down pretty damn good. What do you guys think? I mean, that is pretty dead on. But arguably, Michael's second most iconic look, right? It's got to be the original 78 clown as worn by Will Sandman. It's got to be. And of course, speaking of what ifs and what could have been, I mean, Michael's whole regular main mask could have almost easily been a clown mask, as we all know. It was down to that and the Tommy Lee Wallace altered Shatner mask. And of course, we know which one they ended up choosing, and the rest is history. Now, later on in the 78 film, Michael rocks a different look. And again, not technically a mask, but a different costume, a different look, because he's a prankster, he's a trickster, and one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie, when he comes back after sticking Bob to the wall, hanging him up like a Halloween decoration, and leaving him there. He comes in with this ghost sheep wearing Bob's glasses and is just messing with poor PJ Souls as Linda. Just messing with her. I mean, like a little kid. Like everything that happens in that scene, you just imagine that is a 6-year-old kid messing with this teenage girl, and until he ain't playing no more. But always love this scene. It's my favorite kill in the film. Always love this scene because it's terrifying, but also just playfully evil. And just gotta love something about somebody that has a costume over a costume, a mask over a mask, you know. I just love that moment when the sheet comes off and then there he is in his mask underneath that. Costume over costume. You gotta love that. So Michael's been doing this for a while, right? You know, rocking different looks every now and then. And sometimes by choice, sometimes by necessity. So let's jump up to Halloween 4 now, to another one of my favorite alternate looks of the shape. Because as he's being transported in that ambulance at the beginning of Halloween 4, after doing his thumb in the forehead trick, he gets out. And for a little while in the early parts of that movie, Michael, as portrayed by the great Tom Morga here, is rocking his bandages. Again, not technically a mask, I understand, but for our purposes here on this discussion, it serves our purposes. I call this Michael's mummy look, wrapped in gauze, wrapped in surgical bandages, still wearing his surgical clothing, his gown. And but this is the scene, of course, in H4 where he gets his coveralls at the gas station. Still doesn't have his mask yet, but he gets his coveralls. And there he is, suited up, just not quite masked up yet. But again, love this look, love this moment, love anytime we get a little bit of Michael doing some Michael stuff, even Michael stuff in his jumpsuit, in his coveralls, but maybe not in his actual mask yet. And that's what we get here. Sometimes it's even more freaky and frightening, and this one's certainly a haunting image of Michael, if ever there was one, from H4. And moving into H5, now this, again, one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie, and I would say definitely one of my all-time favorite scenes of Michael wearing a mask other than his own, one of his alternate masks. This, of course, works on so many levels to me because this mask, the Brute mask, belongs to the character Mike, who's Tina's boyfriend, in the film, of course. Michael's already killed Mike. Tina doesn't know that, so she's talking to him as it's Mike. It's really Michael, and it just works on such a funny level because she's literally using Michael's name, talking to her Michael, but it's our Michael, and he's wearing his coveralls, but he's got this brute mask. The brute mask, the way it's lit, it looks awesome. And it's a scary, tense scene if you've never seen it because, again, we know what's going on. We know the killer is there. Tina has no clue. She's getting all cozy up to him. When he's wearing the black gloves and you see him tighten around the steering wheel. I love that as well. So, love this look. Love Trick or Treat Studios' recreation of the Brute as well. They did an amazing job with that. But this one, just one of my favorite scenes in all of Halloween 5, and just one of my favorite scenes really in the whole franchise because it's just such a it's like I'm talking about. It's Michael doing Michael stuff, but not in his usual look. I mean, I love the usual look. That's the iconic look. But every now and then, I want to see him pranking somebody and tricking somebody and doing something, rocking one of these different looks. And the Brute is one of the best, for sure. Now, in The Curse of Michael Myers, he didn't exactly rock a different mask, but if you've seen the producer's cut, which I highly recommend if you haven't, I'm not saying it's necessarily better than the theatrical, but it is absolutely a must watch for fans because they're so totally different. I do think the best version lies somewhere in between the two of them, but at the end of the producer's cut, it is Michael rocking the Man in Black look at the very end of the film, believe it or not. Michael leaving his mask with Loomis and Wynn. Michael taking the Man in Black's hat and coat. Still wearing his boots and his coveralls underneath. And he's still out there, unmasked at the end of Curse, producer's cut. Again, not a mask, just an alternate look, and Michael doing some Michael stuff, not looking like his normal Michael self. But now, when we talk about Michael Myers wearing alternate masks, no film in this 13 film franchise delivers on that more by far than Rob Zombie's Halloween 07 remake, where of course we get a new version of the clown, and it is featured very prominently, much more than the original clown is. But we get so many other masks. Once Michael is in Smith's Grove, both as a young boy played by Daig, we get so many different looks during those montages, during those intense scenes, yelling at Loomis, played by Malcolm McDowell. This look in the center is a really good one. This is a really good look here that we get. So many masks on the character throughout the early part of this film. Specifically those Smith's Grove scenes. Here's another one, and we get so many, and I love them all, and I love the idea that Michael is just, becoming less and less of a person, more and more of a shape, and as he's doing that, the more and more he is only letting himself be seen behind these masks. And of course it really kind of culminates with the escape mask that we see here, right here on the right, of course. And, you see others than just these we've seen here. Tyler Mane is wearing one very prominently right before his escape scene when Loomis basically tells him goodbye. And I love that escape look. I've actually got mine right over here. I brought it down here before to share with you guys, and I brought it down here tonight for the occasion because I love this mask. This is not the new Trick or Treat Studios one that is just coming out this year in 2025. This one came out many years ago. This was made by Fun World, and I got it from Spirit Halloween back in the day. But I love this look. I love this mask, and I love all the different masks in his cell when you get to see them. I think the escape mask is awesome. I own a Michael Myers figure from the remake. It's a 18-footer, and he comes with both the masks. And I gotta say, I typically keep this one on just because it's so unique. It's such a unique, different look for Michael, but terrifying and awesome at the same time. And it's a pumpkin. If you didn't get it, it's definitely a pumpkin. You know, he's always got pumpkins on the brain, like me, like we do, as you can see in all of these. Basically, some kind of variation of the pumpkin look. And then in the most recent trilogy, I mean, we get a little bit of Michael maskless, just like we do in H2, Rob Zombie's H2. But unless I'm forgetting something, I don't think Michael rocks a different mask at any point in the new films, unless I have somehow forgotten, which is possible. But this is where I bring you guys in to join the conversation and chime in and tell me your favorites of those we've discussed, of any of those that I might have left off of this list. Let me know. What do you think? Do you like it when Michael rocks a different look, dons a different mask for certain occasions? Or is it annoying to you? Do you just want him to stay with his regular mask, stop playing games, get down to business? Either way, I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Let us hear what you think right here in the live chat here tonight on Michael Myers Monday Live. Let us hear your picks. If I'm going to pick one as a favorite alternate look, I mean, again, it's hard to vote against the original clown, but then this is my favorite kill, and I love the scene, and it's Michael being a trickster at his best, but it's also technically not a mask, so if we're going to talk mask, I'd probably have to go with the escape mask in '07. If I'm just going to go straight, which mask is the most badass? In my eyes, besides the original. But you guys tell me what you think. And meanwhile, let's look at the results of our most recent poll, which asked that very question. What is your favorite Michael Myers mask other than his usual main mask? And we put up there the clown mask from '78, the brute mask from H5, the clown mask from '07, or maybe the Smith's Grove escape mask from '07. And, clown mask 78 dominates in first place with 71% of 115 votes. Smith's Grove Escape Mask comes in second place. All right, not bad. Distant 13% second place, though. In third place is the Brute Mask from H5, and Clown Mask from 07 comes in fourth place. All right, so keep that conversation going. And meanwhile, as we're talking here, we are launching this week's poll. It actually has already launched about a half hour ago or so. We'll go check in on it. But this week's poll is going to tie in with our next discussion, which is the next logical discussion to have after tonight's discussion of our favorite Michael alternate masks. Well, next week, on our next Michael Myers Monday live broadcast, we are going to talk about our favorite moments when somebody other than Michael wore Michael's mask. And there's been quite a few of those moments over the years. So that poll has already launched. Of course, there's Ben Tramer in Halloween 2. And yes, I know it's technically not a Michael mask because the hair is not right. But we got to include Ben Tramer, I feel like, if we're talking about these. There's Spitz in Halloween 5, of course. How about Freddy, played by Busta Rhymes in Resurrection? Or, of course, Steve, Judith's boyfriend, who wears the Michael Myers mask and actually brings it into the Myers house for the first time in Rob Zombie's Halloween 07. Then there's the original Steve, of course, in 78 that you could also write in your vote for because he puts this one on for just a brief second, kind of like this, just messing with Judith. But he does technically wear Michael's mask before Michael even does in the original film. Just like the remake Steve in 07 wears the adult one before Michael does. And there's many other instances and moments throughout this franchise where somebody else has put on Michael's mask. We're going to go over all of them and break down some of our favorites and why during our next live transmission. So plan on being here for that. And until then, hit up this week's poll and let us hear from you that way. Brett says, really wish we would have gotten more bandaged Myers in part 4. Yeah, I love that look. And Tom Morga doing it. I mean, George Wilbur's great, of course, but I do wish we had gotten more bandaged Myers. After the gas station, when he puts on the coveralls, I think that we could have seen a lot more of that. That would have been cool. Brett also agrees we need a hybrid cut of part 6. Yes. I mean, I like both cuts. There are things, but they're so drastically different. And, you know, when I interviewed Daniel Farrens years ago, he said that he, in his opinion, neither is the perfect cut, but the perfect cut lies somewhere in between. And it's a shame, you know, because there is a perfect cut somewhere, somehow out there. But yeah, there's a lot about the producer's cut. Like, that's probably the one I'm going to watch most often if I'm watching that movie is the producer's cut. But then there are certain things about the theatrical cut that I like more too, you know. I mean, I kind of like the more rocking soundtrack of the theatrical cut. Yes, the producer's cut sounds more like the John Carpenter soundtrack, but I kind of like the more metal. Again, it's kind of a 90s thing in the theatrical, but and just, you know, a few other things. So let's see. Brad's music channel says Happy Michael Myers Monday. Not able to stay long at the moment, but hope to catch some of the replay later. Thanks for all you do for this community. Well, thank you for being here, Brad. I appreciate it. My pleasure, man. Jason says, always thought and think that it's the way that Michael portrays himself within a mask. He could wear a pillowcase or even a hockey mask and still be Michael Myers. Hell yes. I agree. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is I like him wearing something other than the main mask every now and then because it is like you're saying, it's still Michael doing Michael, which I guess in a weird way is what I was talking about the Bruce Wayne Batman thing earlier. And I know it's not the same, but it kind of is. It's like when Bruce has to be Batman, Batman's gonna be Batman, even if he's not wearing the ears and the cape and all that. I guess is the analogy there if there is one. Um, Brett says the Brute was out of left field. Loved it. I know it's so out of left field in that film. It's just such a weird moment in that film, but it's one of my favorite moments in that film. You know, we talked about finding the stuff that we love about every sequel. You know, H5. It's so wacky and it has some things that definitely like the goofy cop music. I'm never a fan of that part, but then they do something like the Brute scene in the car, and the fact that the character's name is Michael, and Tina's like Michael, and I love that. And it's tense, like I said, it's actually scary if you think about it. Like it's a terrifying thing because, yeah, I mean, he just killed her boyfriend. She's clueless about it. She's snuggling up to him, I yeah, I love that. Jason loved the paper mache mask from Rob Zombie's '07. Same here. Yeah, I love seeing all those homemade masks. And I just love the idea that, well, what would Michael be doing in there? What crafts, would he do? I think that would be it. That makes sense to me. They wouldn't let him touch knives, or if they did, I think he'd carve everything. Like even at the end of Ends, when they're in the cave and you see where Michael's like kind of carved the mask into parts of the rock in the cave. Did you guys notice all that? But it does make sense to me that he'd be sitting down there. Like, what is he going to do? There's no pumpkin to carve. There's no human flesh to carve. He'd start carving stone down there. And what's he going to carve? Either a jack-o'-lantern face or a mask or some... Yeah, he's going to carve a mask face. So, shape's going to shape, right? He's going to shape. Literally, he's going to shape his face. I love all that stuff. Jenny wonders if Will had a hard time looking through the clown mask. That is a good that's a good question. I'm sure he's answered that before, and I bet it probably was. I think what I've heard him say is it did kind of hurt him when they kind of take it off his head, and but he stays straight faced through the whole thing. Great little actor. City Kitty is checked in. What's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Had to finish some Code Orange Day shopping from Home Depot. Hell yes. I hope you got some goodies. That's right. Home Depot dropped all kinds of cool stuff. I think that Bride of Frankenstein animatronic might have been the first thing to sell out. Yeah, let us know what you scored, City Kitty. Jenny digs clown mask. Byron says, are we getting expanded releases of Kills and Ends? Yeah, I was talking about it earlier. That's my best bet of what this drop on Wednesday could be, this announcement on Wednesday. That's my best bet. Oh, Brett says they have a new hoodie at Walmart too. I did not see it. A new Michael Myers one. I did see I guess it was last year's one. It was like a kind of a tan colored Michael Myers hoodie at Walmart. I think Walmart was where I saw it, but no, if it's a brand new one, I don't think I've seen that one yet. Gonna have to go back to my Walmart and look for that too. And as I've said before, our Walmart, isn't usually the quickest to get some of this stuff. So the fact that I saw this, I was looking for it and kind of hoping, but not really expecting. But then they had it and had it in my size. I was stoked. Jenny says, I thought Corey Cunningham counted for wearing Michael's mask. Yes, Corey. He definitely wore Michael's mask. Yeah, well, you can vote for him. Yeah, I can only put 4 options in the poll, but you can definitely write in Corey as your favorite. Because, yeah, he's nobody wears Michael's mask quite as much as Corey. Jason says Michael being able to create his own mask shows he is an intelligent individual. Absolutely. Oh yeah, he's got intelligence. He's definitely not stupid or brain dead. We know this. You know what he does with his intelligence might be disturbing to some people and dangerous sometimes and all. But yeah, yeah, he's not dumb. We know that for sure. Even if it's the mind of a 6-year-old more or less the whole time, which in a lot of ways I think it is, he's still not a stupid 6-year-old. He's not dumb. All right, guys. Wow, it is after midnight. You know, every single time I say we're not going to go till midnight, it's like a guarantee we're going to go after midnight. All right, let's do some shout outs real quick, shall we? I'm going to start over on Threads tonight. No, not Threads. TikTok, excuse me. This is posted on TikTok, an awesome collection hosted by Old School Horror Fanatic. We were just talking about some of those masks and films. Looking really nice, Old School Horror Fanatic. Happy Michael Myers Monday. All right, let's move over now to Blue Sky. This is posted today by Ross Silly on Blue Sky. Good morning and have a marvelous Michael Myers Monday. Yes, and it was actually a little bit cooler today and yesterday than it has been most of June and July, which I am thankful for. A little fall coolness, I will take it. And this little GIF here looks looks like fall to me with the leaves blowing and everything. Let's jump over to the gram. This is posted by Phantom Face 2022. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Some pics from Saturday at Flashback Weekend Chicago dressed as Myers 07. And yeah, he got all kinds of cool photos. There's a couple Myers at Flashback, a couple more Myers. Myers Jason, so many Myers. Lots of great shots. Oh, that is an awesome Ozzy. Is that cosplay or a statue? I think that's an Ozzy Osbourne statue, actually. I thought it was somebody doing Ozzy Osbourne cosplay, but I think that's a statue, actually. Yeah, this guy rocks his Michael 07. Art the Clown in there with him. Whoa, look at that werewolf. Really cool stuff. Oh, I guess that's him outside of his Michael outfit. Awesome. Well, thank you, Phantom Face 22, for sharing. Also on the gram, this is from our buddy Great Dave Farrick, young Michael Myers himself. Been playing with the AI, saying I'm gonna stop saying Happy Michael Myers Monday. He's saying we should be saying instead, hope you're prepared, Michael Myers Monday, or don't trip, it's Michael Myers Monday, or be scared, it's Michael Myers Monday, or quit screaming, we get it, it's Michael Myers Monday. What do you guys think? Should we change it from Happy Michael Myers Monday, since it is like, well, we're celebrating a fictional serial killer? Should it be more like Hope You're Prepared Michael Myers Monday, or Don't Trip, it's Michael Myers Monday? Does Dave have a point? Also from the gram, another friend of ours, the great Tyler Main, and talking about those great paper mache masks. There's a couple of them in the background of this clip. This is actually a blooper from the filming. But look, you guys know how I like to have everything tie in. Look at all those masks back there. We were just talking about alternate masks. There's a whole ton of them back there. As Tyler's filming bloopers here with the great Danny Trejo and Lou Temple. And all them masks. So cool. And one more from Instagram for this week, posted by the great Christopher Nelson on his Instagram. He says, Michael Myers Monday for Halloween ends this beautiful dummy head of James Jude Courtney with unmasked makeup by Vincent Van Dyke. And wow. I mean, if I didn't know better and I looked at this, I would just think this was James Jude Courtney in makeup applied by Christopher Nelson. But this is not actually James's actual head or face at all. This is a dummy head. I mean, just amazing work. Here's a different view. Look at that. I mean, if I didn't know better, if Christopher shared this and said, look at this makeup we put on James Jude Courtney, I'd be sitting here telling you, look at this awesome makeup job, because it looks like a makeup job to me. It's that realistic. It doesn't even look like a fake head to me. Just amazing. You guys know the deal. Every week we are celebrating Michael Myers Monday. Use the hashtag. Tag us on your social of choice. I will repost you, re-X you, re-share you, whatever it is on that platform. And we'll like it, we'll share it, we'll repost it, and we will spread the legion of Michael throughout the interwebs forever. All right, guys, this has been fun. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's program. Lots of cool stuff on the horizon. Like I said, this week you can look forward to, well, first of all, check out my interview that just dropped today with Stuart Ortiz and Jesse Clarkson from the upcoming slasher. It's called Strange Harvest. The killer in it is called Mr. Shining. A lot of people are going to be talking about it. Check it out. It's a slasher movie, but it's presented entirely like a documentary. So when you watch it, you're going to feel like a documentary. Like halfway through it, I had to kind of look up and make sure that this really was a documentary that I was watching, because there really was a feature film. I mean, that I was watching, because it feels exactly like a documentary, except you're just like, there's no way that this happened, and I never heard about it until now. Is maybe the only giveaway, but really well done. Especially if you like found footage, because again, it's not exactly found footage, but because it's a documentary, it uses a lot of found footage type scenarios as well as screen life type scenarios, all that stuff. So check out that interview. It's up on the channel now. Coming next, and it'll be up tomorrow morning for channel members early access. But I've got the director and the cast of the film Sketch. This is an awesome film. It is a beautiful film. It's a heartwarming film. It is a hilarious film, and it does hit some horror notes. It's not a gory horror movie by any means, but if you want like a Steven Spielberg 1980s, Goonies feel of a movie, check out Sketch. And especially if you had young kids or just young people in your life that are just starting to get maybe a little curious about horror, this is perfect gateway horror material. It is so well done. The creatures in it are awesome. They're going to remind you of like the best of like Jim Henson type creatures. I'm telling you, it's one of the best movies of 2025. Sketch. I'm telling you, it's not a Halloween movie. Doesn't take place on Halloween, but it works for Halloween. It'll definitely, families will watch it for Halloween. But this is going to be one that's going to be around for a while. One of the interviews I did is with Mr. Tony Hale, who is hilarious. He's been in a ton of iconic series over the years, like Veep, Arrested Development. He played the mayor in Hocus Pocus 2, for Christ's sakes. He's been around forever. He's an Emmy winner. He was great. Darcy Carden is in it. I interviewed her as well with Tony. I loved her on the show The Good Place. Check out these interviews. And these young actors in it. The young stars of this film. The young lady who stars, her name is Bia Bell. She's going to be a big star. In 10 years, she's going to be your new Jenna Ortega. Guaranteed. Mark my words. We'll gather here in 2035, August of 2035, and I'll be like, remember when I said that girl's going to be the next Jenna Ortega. Yeah. Anyway, check it out. Sketch is the movie. The other movie that is a horror movie and is a masked slasher movie is Strange Harvest. And then after all those, my next round of interviews is going to be with the stars and director, writer of Diced Reloaded, which is another Halloween slasher that does take place on Halloween. And the killer there is dressed in a scarecrow costume. So we talk about all that good stuff coming your way and lots more right here on the HDN YouTube channel. And of course, tons more also happening on the main site, HalloweenDailyNews.com. Don't forget the discount, 15% off at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop. Please consider becoming a channel member if you haven't already. That goes a long way in supporting everything we do here. It's just $5 a month, and you get early access to stuff like all of those interviews I mentioned and lots of other cool stuff we do, including some exclusive giveaways and other cool stuff. And don't forget our Halloween International Film Festival happening October 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Come hang out with us. We'll have a Triple M gathering here again, like we did in Pasadena. Come on, it's going to be fun. All right, guys, this has been awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for hanging out. I didn't think it was going to go quite this late tonight, but this was good. I think we had a good time. I know I did. I hope you guys did too. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to subscribe, turn on the notifications, and let me hear all of your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to hear from you. Until then, I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for talking, for your conversation, for your input, and for your support. You guys rock. And of course, happy Michael Myers Monday! Good night, Haddonfield.